Good morning from Split. So, what's the plan for today? The plan for today is just to go on an impromptu do-it-yourself food tour. So, look online, there's all different types of food you can get in Split. Specialities of Croatia, that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to try and do. So I've got about half a dozen different places to try and visit, to find something to eat, try them out. And our first stop, luckily, looking at my phone, is called Canton Paulina, where they sell something called Savory. Luckily, it's only about 300 yards away from where we're staying, so I'm just going to carry on down this little alleyway, off to the left, and we should be there. They're famous for their Savaris, which kind of look like a kebab to me, in a bun, but we'll go in and find out and see what they're like. Hi, so I just bought one of these, and I bought a small one. So as you can see, you've got the onion and the ajvar. The ajvar is the red sauce. That's the traditional way of eating it, apparently. So I might just try one of these on its own first. Just pull one out. So a small mincemeat sausage. And okay. It's hard to describe, really. It's just a small mincemeat sausage. Quite coarse texture of food, but it's really good. Let's just try a roll on its own. So the bread's really light, really airy. The sauce all goes together as well. I'll be perfectly honest though, at 10 past 10 in the morning, I'm not sure it's a breakfast food, but it'd probably be good at the end on a Friday night after you've had a few beers and you're on the way home more than anything else. It's a bit like a UK kebab. But anyway, we'll finish this and then move on to the next one. So that Savory was really nice actually. Got quite a bit greasy towards the end and probably most of it's still all over my chin. Next stop is about 200 metres away. We're aiming for what it says is down as a fish market. We'll wait and see if there actually is a fish market here. Mind you, no. I thought we'd found the fish market then, but it looks like... we have found the fish market. Okay, let's go and have a look. Okay, so it is a Sunday, and as you can see, it's empty. But this is the original fish market for Split. But sadly lacking any fish. Okay, so we'll wander off and we'll find our next stop. So as we're on our way to our next stop, we've just got to wander through the main square. So this is just on the outskirts, really, of the old town proper. I think we are actually still in the Diocletian Palace, but a lot of this stuff is a bit slightly newer. You can see in front of you there's a big clock tower, pretty unusual clock tower because it's marked out as a 24-hour clock. So if you look at a normal watch, you'll see it goes from 1 to 12. This one goes from 1 to 24, obviously. But this is a Sunday morning, like I said, so everyone's out having breakfast and that sort of thing. But no one else has had a Savory, which is a fish market yet. Over to our left-hand side is a bookshop. Apparently that's the third oldest bookshop in the world. About 140 years old. Okay, let's walk into the old area now. We're heading, I think I'm heading towards the market. So let's go and have a look. So when you look up, you will actually see these arches. These aren't actually, should we say, supporting arches. These showed you how wide a lot of these streets were originally. So we can see it's a big wide street that ran through the palace area. But then they've obviously built all modern, or slightly more modern shops along here. So if you look at this one up here, you can only see half an arch. So it shows you how wide it was, and then they've just built out. So as we're still walking through, this is probably one of the most famous parts of the whole area. We look around. So to our left we see the cathedral. Behind it you see a Roman mausoleum. And then what they did is they added a Christian bell tower to it. So you go from the 2nd century AD up until about the 4th century AD. Then as we swing around, you have buildings that range from the 12th century AD to 15th century AD. And then in front of us is one of the most famous places. We're just going to have a wander inside. They often have singers singing in here, so we go and have a look. To the right of us is a really expensive hotel, the Luxor. Okay, down these steps in front of us takes us through to the basement. There's a market down there. We'll probably go and have a look at that a bit later on. Let's go up these steps and have a look. Ah, excellent. We've got some singers. Okay, I've come out of there because I'm using a lav mic, so you probably didn't pick up what the guys were singing, but it sounds really good. Let's take us back out into the square. We'll continue working our way through. Well, what you will notice actually on the right hand side is an Egyptian Sphinx. That's because the Roman Caesar Diocletian liked to take stuff from where he was, and he quite liked the Egyptian Sphinx, and so he stole one and brought it here. Okay, let's go. So walking through one of the old parts, I don't know if you can actually hear me above the noise from the bells. Ah, that's okay, they've stopped now. So walking past, obviously it's the old Roman mausoleum, and apparently this area here, all around here, during Yugoslavia time, obviously before the various wars and fights that took place between Croatia, Bosnia, etc., etc. This was a ghetto area, so this used to be possibly the poorest place you could live up there, the flats. No one wanted to live there, but now of course in Split they're the most expensive place anybody could ever buy an apartment. So only in 30-40 years it shows how things can change. Okay, we're just about to walk out through a gate called the Silver Gate. This is where the entrance is to the palace, and we're going looking for the green market. So as you can see, these are all the old walls. Now what you mainly see is where it's large blocks, that's where it's Roman, and where it goes into smaller blocks, that's where it's been reconstructed. Not recently, good 1,500 years ago, or there's some bits, obviously you can see some red brick which are probably quite modern, but most of it is reconstructed over the various centuries. So this is the market we're approaching now. I was told it's mostly a food market, but it kind of looks more like a bric-a-brac tourist market. We'll have a look. So what this market is supposed to be famous for is the likes of olive oil, honey, lavender and all that sort of stuff. So we found a store that sells most of that directly behind me. But what I'm actually looking for is a speciality of Croatia. It's called arancini, but when you read up on it, it sounds like it's just sugared almonds, the sort of thing we used to give as treats or fancies in a wedding. So we'll have a look. Okay, so we found another one that's got lots of olive oil. Just spring to come around.
Any other liquors that
So we certainly found the honey and the oil. We're still looking for the almonds. So it might be because it's Sunday, but most of the stores here are actually empty, which is a shame. But we're still looking for the Alancini. We'll keep going until we find it. There's a few more stores up ahead of us. If not, we'll just have to find somewhere else to get them. So still on the hunt for almonds. We've gone through the market, haven't found them anywhere. Anyway, so my next stop is a chocolate shop. It's probably one of the oldest chocolate shops apparently in Split. And they used to hold the world record for having the largest chocolate bar. I think that's largest by size rather than largest by weight. But anyway, let's see if we can wander back around into the old town and see if we can find that one. So when you make your way back into the old town, you'll see a large statue of Gregory of Nin. Spinning around, you'll see a Venetian clock tower. Then you'll see the entrance to the old to the palace. I keep calling it the old town, the palace. This is the Golden Gate. So this is actually, I suppose, the main entrance. The front entrance was actually on the water's edge. So let's take us through as we continue our search. So the good thing about these small alleys is it is a lot cooler. We're up in the mid-30s at the moment, centigrade. What's that? That's 30, 60, 90 Fahrenheit-ish. And here we come across our shop, Natalina. As you can see, they used to have the record for the largest chocolate bar, measured at 102 square meters. So I think it'd be rude just to not actually go in and buy some of their chocolate. Let's go and have a look.
Can I help you?
Yeah, you can help. I'm obviously just filming your shop, but I will buy some chocolate. It's okay. I'm just trying to work out what's your biggest seller? What do you sell most of?
So these three are the most famous ones. So olive oil,
Okay.
Adriatic sea salt, and dried figs and sweet wine. These are local products, and hazelnut or
Okay.
almonds you can find.
Okay. Can I take the dried figs then? See if
Yes.
that's ones.
Of course.
Cheers. Thank you.
€3. Okay,
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Have
Bye bye.
a nice day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
So it's lovely and cool in there. So, as you might have heard, I asked them what one of their biggest sellers was, and one of their biggest sellers, their top three, was dried figs and sweet wine. So that's not something I've tried before, so we'll give it a go. Okay, so I thought talking about eating the chocolate while actually, because it's absolutely roasted, it's probably going to melt straight away. So what I'll do is take that back to our apartment, and I'll try it back in the apartment where it's a bit cooler, and it's not going to melt all over me. Okay, that's on for our next stop. So our next stop is to find a traditional bakery. I think it's the oldest bakery in Split. It's been going since 1937. It's famous for mostly, I think, some cinnamon rolls, and it's also famous for some almond cakes. So that's what we'll be looking for and trying out to see if they're any good. As I say, it's been here since 1937, so it should be good, but let's go find out. So as you can see, we're now 11:20. This whole place is starting to get packed and full of tourists. So when you see those dreamy wanders through Split and there's just no one about, it's not really like that. I was looking for a bakery. We came across a duck store. Pick your film, pick your duck. They even have some speciality ducks. Slightly distracted by the ducks, but we're now back on our search for the bakery. Amongst all the tours that are taking place. So I've managed to find the bakery. Unfortunately, even though it's been open since 1937, they don't open on Sundays. So there's another failure. So let's find another bakery that hopefully sells something similar. All right, let's go find. After failing on our search for the oldest bakery, hopefully we'll come across a bakery and try their sweet treats in a moment. We're off in search of something else now called a burek, I think it's called. It looks like a pastry dish, like a puff pastry, and they stuff it with spinach and some sort of cheese. So that's what we're looking for next. It's a traditional dish called burek. So it should only be a minute or two down here. Everything's pretty close together. So let's have a look. Okay, St. Burek, we found it. Let's have a look, see what they've got. So these are all the different bureks. And unfortunately there's a big gap for the one I wanted, but he's digging around and it's appeared.
We're here takeaways now.
Takeaway.
Do you need a plastic bag?
Yes, please. Okay, so we've got our burek. Ow, and it's hot. Okay, so that was €2.50. Okay, so it's flaky pastry. It's full of cheese, like a ricotta type cheese, I think you'll find, and spinach. And it's a bit hot. This is going to go one bite and then. Really hot. Came out the oven literally 30 seconds. We literally walked 30 seconds from the bakery to here. It's a little bit caramelized, should we say, on the back. So you can taste that, but so you can definitely taste the cheese, you can definitely taste the spinach. I mean, the spinach is actually really quite strong, not so much on the cheese side of it. So, but this is big enough to keep you going for most of the day. It's huge, but we'll do our best to eat it and then move on to our next one. Just minutes away from where I bought the burek, there's a small bakery. So I went in there looking to see where they sell the raffiolis or cinnamon whirls. They didn't have any cinnamon whirls, but he did sell me some raffiolis. A highly extravagant €4 for a packet. So I think I've been slightly ripped off being the tourist, but I'll just show you what they look like now. So this is our ravioli. Let's bring it around here. Give a better look. Oh, I was a bit in the shade there, isn't it? There you go. So that's a ravioli. So they look like a small pasty if you're English, but they're supposed to be sweet. So let's open them up and see what they're like. Okay, so we've opened these up. They all look a bit pre-packaged, but I'm not sure how fresh these are going to be. Okay, there's nothing to say whether they're made today or when they were made, but let's give it a go. So yeah, a little half moon shaped pasty thing. Pastry's really soft, filling soft, not a lot to mulchy as a texture. You can see that. Okay, so yeah, very almondy. Some small, plus a little bit of cinnamon in there as well. But well, I'm not sure these are as good as the real thing, but they're okay. I wouldn't go and hunt for them again, put it that way. Whilst continuing our different types of food and things to do whilst here in Split, just found out the posh tea and cake shop we're going to take you to is actually closed on Sundays. We can't take you there. So the other place we're going to take you is something called Luca, which is supposed to be the best ice cream shop in the area. But before you get anywhere near that, we come across this place behind me. That's right, Froggyland. Okay, they've got 100 different stuffed frogs in there in different poses. And do you know what? I'm going to go and have a look to see how much this place actually is to get in. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. 100-year-old frogs. Unique collection. Oh, 507 fascinating frogs, all stuffed. Do you know what? I think we'll give that one a miss. Anyway, let's go search for the ice cream store. As I said, it's now midday, so it's getting warm. So it's only time that we actually had an ice cream. Okay, so this is the theatre behind me. Split. So, right, okay. So just behind here, apparently, is Luca's ice cream store. Okay, so we found Luca's ice cream store. It's just a small hole in the wall. We recommended this place. So we'll have a look. And no food store can end without at least going for 1 pint. Well, it is after 12.